pretty much the only thing
Like,
so
it's
far.
making me want to reopen the episode just to see if I'm going crazy. Like, I just was watching and I'm like, wow, it's
What are
already
you?
about
What are
to
your
be
thoughts yet?
halfway. And then I tuned in the
Oh,
final
okay.
fight and I'm like, this is the episode? I don't know, man. I guess I'm turning into a brat. Maybe I was just enjoying the ride too much, man. I guess the high
Well,
of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, like I'm not even like a huge Vegeta fan. Like I just like Dragon Ball, right? So I like
that
Vegeta.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
That came out of nowhere, and that was
really.
cool. I like that, especially when you consider like the fact that we're kind of sitting just after the Majin Buu saga. So if you were to watch
Exactly.
this like like if you kind of skipped the end of Z as it's called, like where they kind of jump forward to the world tournament and whatnot. If you
Yeah.
just kind of if you kind of just left it at the Kid Buu fight straight into this, that would be like I mean Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta already was awesome in its own vacuum kind of thing, but it'd be a really kind of a blowaway thing if you treated it all as one series.
I see what you mean. I mean, I just like the way, like you're saying, it, right? Being before or being after in the Z, like Boo Saga, the fact that it lines up and it feels like the power levels line up, like no one feels like
I agree. Yeah.
crazy out of pocket. Like, sometimes Dragon Ball, it says it's written in this, or I guess I should just say anime. It'll say it's written in this time or this era, and it'll completely throw off every level of grounding that they
Yeah.
had because it's so busy keeping up with the modern power levels. This isn't really doing that.
Especially especially with the fact that they're kids, so they're meant to be underpowered anyway. Like that was
Yeah.
the point of them being thrown back. So you can think that maybe they're a little bit undercooked because of that. I guess if I was to criticize it, and that's probably a bad word to use, but it would be that I guess there's maybe not so much emphasis on how strenuous Super Saiyan 3 is. Like Goku made a big
Well,
point of it being like real difficult to control. So if
I
it was
would
like,
say,
oh,
yeah, yeah, I hear you.
so Vegeta being a kid and being weaker and then just kind of busting it out and pretty much having full control over it in a place that he should be struggling to sort of adapt to. I don't know. If you were to sort of find a nitpick, that's where I would maybe that's the thread I would pull, but I really don't care enough to actually pull that.
Yeah, I hear that. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it's not like Vegeta was in that state for too long, Like I want to say I can't
No,
remember
no.
what Bulma said, but she was like trust me, he's been going at this, so he didn't hold the form for too long. He ended the fight in like a couple. I want to say it felt like 2 minutes, so I understood, but I get where
Yeah.
you're coming from, especially one emphasis. And this episode, I would say of all the episodes, felt like GT, like in regards to how it was
Yes.
paced. And
Yes. Yes.
one thing about GT, like you're saying, like the childish body in Super Saiyan 3, if you do want to use that same like approach to the transformation, especially considering it's supposed to be like that anyway, I would say the fact that we're there and that's the most we've seen them, like that's the most, I guess, strain we've seen Vegeta put, or Goku for that matter, on his body. I did like that. Like we're saying, it just is, it's a really level-headed approach. Like they're not going over the top, right? Like there's not, it could be
Nah.
world blowing up type environment, like, but they're not really taking it there. So I like that so far. I would also say this
Well,
episode with the, I didn't love that he had to go Super Saiyan and like just to handle this thing, but at the same time, like it is what it is. So
uh,
I
they
don't
they
know.
do that often, I guess, where
Yeah,
it feels like Super Saiyan or whatever it is isn't necessary. I mean, if you want to go back to GT, if we're doing that kind of an episode, GT was pretty big on that. Just Super Saiyan or even Super Saiyan 4, like it kind of I don't even know how to phrase this properly to make me content with what I'm trying to say, but they used to do that a lot just to be like, okay, so they need to I don't know, I can't even I don't know how to say this, but they used to bust out those transformations a lot just to sort of show that they needed to put more
yeah,
effort in, almost,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
guess.
like they acted like
Um,
every task was some huge ordeal. Like it was some
yeah,
groundbreak. Like it was like, all right, Goku doesn't need to go Super Saiyan 4 against every Shadow Dragon. Like, be for real, right? Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
felt
exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I
Whereas I
know.
think they could benefit sometimes from maybe just throwing a couple of sweat beads on their head or something, or even a
Yeah.
vein popping. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, to use this episode as an example, Neva is a good example of that. Like, it was funny when they're crash landing, he was real chill. He's like, you know, if we don't fix this or whatever, we're probably going to crash land. If we're in the water, we're probably going to be food for the Kraken. And he was real chill. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's obviously not super worried. And then he gets to the planet, he goes, oh my god, we're gonna get run, like it's like really freaked out. And I was like, oh, that's quite the contrast between we're crash landing into the water with potential krakens and it's all over and I'm real chill to we didn't do that and now we got to run because there's these big guys. But yeah, it was a very GT feeling episode with the what they call it, mega planet or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, Megath, I think they
Because
said.
there's yeah, because it's Megite, which is the crystal, and the most terrifying planet is
Yeah,
Giga.
I love that. That was funny. That one made me like, chuckle a little bit. That was a good
I
so it's the planet of Mega, and then it's inhabited by the Megaths. But yeah, that little
okay, yeah,
Gigath
right.
joke was a good one.
I liked the socks too with the capsules by Hybus. You know, Bulma's just like thrown this absolutely mind blowing
Oh
technology
yeah,
that she can
yeah.
basically drink anything. He's like, "Can I do that with my socks?" And they're both just like, "Are you serious, dude? Like, what the hell's wrong with you?"
Unreal, man. I like Hybus.
And honestly,
He's not saying as much as I thought he was going to say because they started treating him like he was going to be integral, like he was going to be a guide or something. I don't have a problem with, him not overspeaking. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But I thought they were going to use him as like a guide the way he was,
yeah.
approaching the second part of the group. I thought it was going to be more focused on him at one point.
Well, he's very unserious.
Yeah,
Like,
he's definitely comedic relief.
ve-
He's perfect comedic relief.
yeah. Do you think that's a red herring for your theory that he's got the third eye on his belt and
Oh,
he's maybe a little bit of a clown in disguise kind of thing?
oh, you think so? Well, all right. Let's start with. I could see him just being unaware and then being like, "Oh, well, I always thought it was like making noises, or I always felt like a weird aura coming from it, but I didn't. I don't know. I just like it because it looks nice. I like fashion. Like that's something I could
Yeah,
see
yeah,
him
yeah.
saying now. But if you're asking, do I think he has malevolent intentions? Like, is he evil, or like is he some sort of
Oh,
he's waiting to be awakened as some evil force? I
possibly.
don't
Yeah.
think it will be that, but I mean, if you do, how do you think that would
I guess
go? Do you think he would
I
answer
don't know. I
to
guess
Goma?
in Dokken terms, I guess he would have the more than meets the eye link if I'm right about that, and
No
whatever
pun
that happens
intended.
to. Yeah, like notwithstanding like what he actually. I don't know how whether he's completely unaware, like you say, or whether he's genuinely aware and he's actually the big bad guy. I don't necessarily know it's that. I just wonder if maybe I don't know. I thought maybe he's a little bit too comic relief to a point sometimes, and I'm
I
like,
hear
huh.
that.
I wonder if yeah, and only because you put the planted the idea with the third eye on his belt being the possibility. I was like, huh, that would not be the biggest fake out. I don't think. It'd be odd. It'd be interesting to see how they'd execute it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was just a thought that ran through my head. That's all.
Yeah, like I said, I like Hybis so far. I've always liked his character. He's good for
Mm.
a show like this. And
Mm.
now
And
let's shoot, for that matter, I guess that's it right there. We could clip that right there, but that's a good one.
yeah, I
But
reckon.